I came in through the side door to my parents' house and heard my uncle say she's just here to feel important. My mom replied, "Yeah, poor thing thinks money makes her family." Then she turned and saw me. I said, "You're right. Which is why this family won't see another dollar from me ever." I wasn't supposed to come in through the side door. I almost never did. But the front porch was blocked. Those rusty old folding chairs were piled up like someone forgot the barbecue ended 2 weeks ago. I didn't feel like moving them, so I went around back. The side door creaked the way it always did, and inside it smelled like damp potting soil mixed with old paint. The house was noisy. Someone had the blender running, and I could hear laughter, my mom's laugh, bright and quick, and then another one deeper, slower, Uncle Mike. I wasn't trying to sneak in. I just hadn't said hello yet, then I heard him, "She's only here to feel important." A short pause. Then my mom, "Yeah, poor thing thinks money makes her part of the family." I froze right there in the mudroom, keys still in my hand. Then I stepped into the kitchen. My mom turned first. The color drained from her face like she'd been caught taking money from the church basket. Uncle Mike just stared down at the floor like the crumbs. They were suddenly fascinating. "You're right," I said quietly. "That's exactly why this family will never see another dollar from me, ever." I walked out before either of them could say a word. I wasn't going to stay and give them the chance to smooth it over. What hurt the most was that for the last 6 months, I'd been quietly doing everything I could for them. No big show, no bragging. My sister Megan ran up $4,000 in credit card debt after her boyfriend disappeared. I paid it off without telling anyone. In October, my parents' heating system died, $12,200. My mom cried on the phone and called me a godsend. That was just 2 months ago. But now, suddenly I was just here to feel important. It wasn't the first time they'd said something sideways about me, but it was the first time they thought I couldn't hear. And that makes all the difference. The strange thing is, I didn't feel angry. Not at first, just empty, like whatever had been keeping me standing finally snapped. I didn't go home that night. I checked into a hotel. Nothing fancy, just a Holiday Inn near the mall. I lay there in the dark with the TV on mute, staring at the ceiling, and it hit me. I couldn't remember the last time I'd visited them without paying for something. Groceries, gifts, plane tickets. House repairs. Even the wine they poured at Christmas was the bottle I'd brought. And still, they found a way to twist it into something ugly. The next day, I turned my phone off. The day after that, I turned it back on. 32 messages, most from my mom, one from Uncle Mike, just a thumbs up emoji for some reason, 2 from Megan, "Call me," nothing else. Except one from Dave, my brother. He never says much, but when he does, I actually listen. "I know they were out of line," he wrote, "but you disappearing won't fix it either." He was trying. But he didn't get it. I wasn't disappearing. I was changing. For years, I'd gotten used to the idea that love had to be earned. That if I just gave enough, supported enough, fixed enough problems, maybe they'd finally see me differently. All it did was make them comfortable. Entitled, so I stopped. I stopped answering money requests. I didn't show up to Megan's birthday dinner that month, even though I was in the same city. I let my dad deal with the cable bill disaster he usually begged me to sort out. And when my mom called asking if I could help pay for new patio furniture before the spring sales ended, I told her no. Just no, no excuse, no explanation. Silence on the other end. A long pause, then, okay. It was the first time I'd ever heard her not push back, not argue, not try to guilt me. It wasn't a clean break, nothing dramatic. At first they just turned colder, shorter texts, fewer family photos in the group chat, less warmth overall. Megan even blocked me for a couple weeks. But then something shifted. Small things. My dad started calling just to ask how I was. Not to fix something, not to borrow money, just to talk. My mom sent me a photo of a pie she'd baked. Said she used the recipe I sent her last year, and that it actually turned out pretty good this time. They didn't say thank you, not yet. But they started treating me less like an ATM and more like someone they actually wanted around. I wasn't expecting that. What I really didn't expect was who would try to ruin it. Uncle Mike. He couldn't stand the change, and I didn't realize it yet, but he was only getting started. Honestly, I never saw it coming from him. Uncle Mike was never the type to get deeply involved in anything. He was the one who showed up late to every family thing, made everyone wait while he gave some long-winded toast, then vanished with a six-pack before anyone noticed he hadn't brought a damn thing. Family drama usually bored him. He floated above it, but apparently my boundaries, that was suddenly his problem. The first sign came at Easter. I wasn't planning to go. It still felt too raw after the side door moment, and I was ready to skip it completely. But Dave called. He said things had cooled off, that Megan wanted to talk. I didn't fully believe it, but I went anyway. Part of me hoped maybe, just maybe, they were finally ready to stop treating me like the enemy. Turns out they were ready to stop treating me like the enemy. But Uncle Mike was. It started subtle. He kept dropping these little money jokes, calling me our little Rockefeller or Stacy, the family sponsor. Someone mentioned a possible trip to Florida. And he said it loud enough for the whole table to hear. Better get Stacy to book it. That's the tradition, right? I didn't bite. I didn't need to. For the first time, my dad spoke up, quiet but firm. Knock it off, Mike. That was new. Uncle Mike just flashed that same lazy smile, like he hadn't heard a thing, and poured himself another drink. Later that day, I walked into the kitchen for more water. I wasn't eavesdropping. I just heard my name the second the door swung open. He was telling my mom I was walking all over them now. That I was holding money hostage to get my way, that my silence was just a guilt trip to manipulate the family. I stood there for half a second, then stepped right in. My mom looked startled, eyes wide, but she stayed quiet. Uncle Mike didn't even pause. He turned straight to me and said, "You think because you paid a few bills, you're better than this family?" I didn't answer him. I looked at my mom instead. She said nothing, so I walked out again. That night I called Dave and told him everything. He let out a long sigh and said, "I think he's jealous. You're independent. You actually got out." He didn't. I hadn't really thought about it like that before. Uncle Mike had been living with his girlfriend for over 10 years in the same rented house they moved into back in the early 2000s. No kids, no steady job. Just bouncing from one big idea to the next, stories about the market, some project that never quite happened. Maybe he needed to feel important too, but it wasn't just jealousy. He was digging in deeper. The next month my mom pretty much stopped calling. My dad's texts got shorter, more distant. I felt the shift. It was quiet, like someone had lowered the thermostat a few degrees, but unmistakable. And I knew exactly who turned the dial. This time, I didn't just let it slide. I called my parents and asked if we could talk, just the three of us. No family, no distractions. They invited me over for dinner. It was awkward. My mom made lasagna and kept steering the conversation toward the weather. Finally, I cut through it. "I know Mike's been saying things to you," I said, "and I know you're listening. But you need to ask yourself why someone who can't even manage his own life is so obsessed with controlling yours." The room went still. Then my dad spoke, low and steady. "We know. He's just been in our ear for a long time." I nodded. "It's time to stop listening." I wasn't angry, I was just finished. That night shifted something. I think for the first time they actually heard me, but Uncle Mike wasn't finished. The more I pulled back, the harder he tried to drag me back in. And the next time we crossed paths, it wouldn't be just words. It was going to be an all-out attempt to blow everything apart. It happened at Megan's baby shower, her first one. She held it at a small winery just outside town. You know the type. String lights, fake rustic vibes that look better in Instagram photos than in real life. My mom had gone all out, like she was planning a royal event. Personalized favors, custom cupcakes, a diaper raffle with prizes that probably cost more than the diapers themselves. She mailed me the invitation. No text, no call, just a pastel pink envelope showing up in my mailbox with my full name printed on it, like we were suddenly being formal. I stared at it for 3 days before I finally RSVP'd. Part of me wanted to skip it entirely. Megan and I hadn't had a real conversation in months, but the other part of me, the part that still wanted to believe things could be fixed, whispered that maybe showing up would mean something. If not for Megan, then maybe for me. I arrived 10 minutes late on purpose, just enough so the crowd had already settled and the spotlight wasn't on new arrivals. I slipped in quietly, gave Megan a quick hug, told her she looked beautiful in her dress, handed her the gift card tucked inside a cute designer onesie, and took a seat at the far end of the main table. Dave and his girlfriend were there. So was my mom, smiling wide like she'd personally directed every detail of the day. Then I spotted Uncle Mike leaning against the drinks table like he owned the place. 2 glasses of red already gone, laughing too loud at his own joke. I didn't say hi, he didn't either. For a while, everything actually felt okay. The games were the usual silly kind. The food was decent. Megan looked genuinely happy, that soft, tired, glowing look you get when the baby's almost here. I almost let myself believe the worst was behind us. Then, out of nowhere, Uncle Mike stood up. No warning, no toast set up. Just rose from his seat, wine glass in hand, and announced, "Before we move on to the gifts, I just want to say something about family." A few people clapped awkwardly, unsure. My stomach sank. I recognized that tone instantly. The tone of a man who only feels good when he's making someone else feel small. He started slow, like he was warming up for the big finish. He talked about how real family means showing up. How it's about love, not money. How some people think throwing cash around makes them saints, but really it just makes them loud. My face went cold. He never said my name, but every single word had my fingerprints all over it. Megan kept her eyes fixed on the table. My mom started fussing with a napkin that was already perfectly folded. My dad didn't move a muscle. Uncle Mike wrapped it up like he'd just delivered the sermon of the century. If we want to raise this next generation right, we have to remember what real connection looks like. Not guilt. Not leverage, just family. He sat back down, satisfied like he'd solved world peace. No one clapped. The air felt thick, frozen. Then Dave muttered under his breath, "Jesus Christ." I stood up. I didn't look at anyone else, just him. "The only person in this room using guilt is you," I said. He gave that same smug smile, like it was all a big joke, but nobody was laughing with him. "You don't get to stand up here and rewrite the story just because you feel threatened. I gave because I wanted to. I helped because no one else stepped up. But you. You show up when it's convenient and act like you've earned a voice in this." I turned to my parents. "He's been trying to wedge himself between us for years, and you've let him. But look at what he actually brings. Nothing, no help, no support, just talk." I paused. No one interrupted. "I'm done defending myself for doing the right thing just because he couldn't do it himself. If you keep letting him steer this family, you're going to lose more than you think." I didn't wait for anyone to respond. I walked out, clear-headed, finished. Back home, I ignored my phone. I wasn't ready for apologies or more empty words. I wanted proof that at least one person in that room actually understood what had just happened. The next morning, my dad called. I almost let it go to voicemail, but I picked up. "Your mom and I talked," he said. "We told Mike we need space. He's not welcome at family events for a while. We've let him say too much for too long." I didn't speak for a second. Then he added quietly, "We see it now, and we're sorry." Those words hit harder than anything Uncle Mike had ever thrown at me. Later that week, Megan texted, short and simple, "Thanks for showing up, that couldn't have been easy." Then a second message, "He always talked down to me too." It wasn't full closure, not yet. But it was something. For the first time in years, I felt like maybe I hadn't lost my family. Maybe I just stopped letting someone else control it. After the baby shower, I braced for the usual pattern. Big explosion, awkward fallout, then months of radio silence until someone needed something or pretended nothing happened. But that's not what came. 3 days later, my mom called casual, like nothing had gone down. She asked about work, said the peonies were blooming early, mentioned some British crime show she'd started watching, half because it's good, half because the actors talk funny. No mention of Uncle Mike. No hidden apology buried in small talk, just a normal conversation. Then she invited me over for lunch. Nothing big. She made sandwiches, we sat out on the deck. It felt strange and familiar at once. My dad popped out halfway through and said he was glad I came. No strings, no hidden requests. I waited for the ask, it never came. The next week they invited me to a backyard movie night for Dad's birthday. Megan was there too, waddling around in her third trimester like she ruled the yard. She handed me a little gift bag. Inside, a white onesie that read "Cool Aunt" in gold letters. She smirked. It was either that or financial sponsor. I laughed, not because it was hilarious, but because for once it felt like we were laughing together, not at me. They kept inviting me to small things. Sunday dinners, a random Wednesday ice cream run. My mom started sending photos again, her flowers, the cat curled up in weird spots, screenshots of recipes she wanted to try. My dad even called after a dentist appointment just to say the hygienist still remembered me and asked about the daughter who moved to the city. Then the invitation came. A long weekend at Lake George. At first I thought it was a mistake. I waited for the follow-up. "Sorry, wrong Stacy," or "We know you probably can't make it, but we wanted to invite you anyway." But instead it just said, "We'd love for you to come. We're renting 2 cabins, no pressure to pay for anything, just be there." I offered anyway, old habits. My mom said no, "This one's on us." That hit harder than I expected. Not because I couldn't afford it, but because they didn't expect me to. For the first time, I really started to believe they were trying. Maybe calling out Mike had cracked something open. Or maybe they were just tired of the pretending. But the second I let my guard down, he slithered back in. A week before the trip, an unknown number called. I picked up. It was Uncle Mike. No hello. "You think they've changed? You think this is real?" I stayed quiet. "They're playing you, they always were, but sure, keep showing up like it's a Hallmark movie." I hung up. 2 minutes later, a text, one photo. A screenshot of a group chat, him, my mom, Megan, my name in it. Mom's message. "She acts like she's doing us favors." I'm starting to feel like we're just her charity project. Dated 2 weeks before the baby shower. My stomach dropped. I stared at it for ages. It didn't shock me, not really. But the timing did. 2 weeks before the invites, before the "we want you around" messages. Was any of it real? I didn't reply. Not to Mike, not to my mom, not to Megan. I just screenshotted it, not for revenge, just so I'd never forget where I really stood. I thought about skipping the trip, ghosting them all, letting them wonder. But 3 days later, Megan called. A real call, not a text. That alone was new, she didn't waste time. Mike's been reaching out to everyone. He sent me the same screenshot too. He wants a reaction. I didn't say much. Then she said, "We confronted Mom." I froze. She admitted it, said she was angry when she wrote it, didn't mean it, felt stupid after. I told her she needs to be honest with you and with herself. I stayed quiet. Megan continued, we want this trip to be real, not another fake gathering. We're tired of pretending everything's fine. We told her if she wants to fix this, she has to say it all out loud. I exhaled, not because it was fixed, but because, for the first time, it wasn't me doing